Hi, and welcome back to All Things Equilateral. How are you guys doing on Spookathon? I'm loving every minute that I get. You know, these types of books are not my favorites, they're not my auto buys, but this time of year, it's kind of fun to read something different, I don't know, and get a little scared. I have to admit, last night when I finished my first Spookathon read, I was scared. It was 11:30 and I finished up A.V. Geiger's Follow Me Back, and I got scared. I mean, you know, so the premise of this book is there is a rock star, I believe his name is Eric Thorne. They've already forgotten stuff. No reflection on the book, it's just mom brain. And there's a fanfic writer called Tessa, and the two of them kind of meet online. Eric assumes another identity of a hater, and he kind of pings Tessa back and forth. He kind of instigates a conversation with Tessa, and the two of them end up going back and forth, and you kind of end up rooting for them. Tessa is agoraphobic. She is struggling after something that happened to her. We never know what. She's struggling to work with her therapist and her nurse mother on overcoming agoraphobia. It kind of reads like a Lifetime movie, those exact movies that I don't watch because, you know, they're thrillers, kind of cheese-tastic thrillers. But in the very last couple of chapters, the whole thing kind of just changes, and out of nowhere comes this plot twist, and you're like, what? And that's what scared me late at night. You know, I'm a lightweight, I admit it. So I think I would give this possibly, I'm trying to think, like 3.5 stars, because an extra half star just for the crazy plot twist in the end. Those of you who like thrillers will probably see it coming, but you know, I'm not a big thriller reader, so I was like, what? I will also recommend this book to my friend Lisa at Books and Smiles. I think this will be like a easy breezy thriller read for her. She loves her thriller stories, and this is a good one. It's kind of good. Yeah. So I will update you with my next book, which is that one, Dark Matter. I just started it. Okay, so Spookathon has ended, and I've read 2.5 books, and I'm hoping that this wrap up, I finished the half book. I'm kind of sneaking it in. The one that I didn't get to is the Alice Hoffman Rules of Magic, which is a prequel to her Practical Magic, which I've got to go to the used bookstore, you guys, and try to find it because I remember just loving that book. So I gotta read that right after I read the Rules of Magic. But I did finish Dark Matter, Blake Crouch's, and I gotta say, you know, it was really good. I love time travel stories, as most of you know, because I usually go on about them, and this one was a little unique. It dealt with that paradigm where, I forget what it's called, but you would think I'd know. But it's where you meet yourself in, you know, future or past, or like Back to the Future where you meet, you know, your grandfather, grandmother, mother, father kind of thing. In this case, it deals with something similar. My daughter Kat loves Stranger Things. I do too. We're looking forward to Stranger Things too. It kind of deals with that same concept of upside down. The fact that, you know, I think it's called Schrodinger's cat. Every time you make a decision, there's actually kind of two ways. A branch forms and you could go one of two ways. And so what happens is the main character is a scientist, and the book starts off with him meeting his best friend for a drink, his college roommate, who's also a scientist who has won a very prestigious award. I'm guessing it's kind of like the Nobel Prize. The protagonist here, Jason, is happily married, has a son, loves his wife, and teaches at a small college. So he's not very well known, and his friend is catapulted into fame. One night, as he's coming back from celebrating his friend's prize, having a drink with him, he stops by for ice cream on his way home to his family when he's kidnapped by a stranger who tells him really nothing, strips him down to nothing, takes his clothes, asks him what does he call his wife. That was a clue. And all of a sudden, Jason wakes up and he is in a laboratory in a completely different world where he's a world famous scientist, and he's not married to his wife, and all he wants to do is get back to his wife and his son. And that sets up the thriller ride, and it is a thriller, a mind-blowing thriller. I kind of expected the ending that happened, and I kind of figured out, because I read a lot of time travel, what was going to happen, but still, it was a wonderful ride. So have you guys read this yet? Okay, this is the third time I'm doing this. So Spookathon, let's talk about it. It was fun. It was so super fun to read outside of the normal genres that I read. But you know what? I am so ready for some chick lit. So some of you might call my Spookathon a failure. I'm gonna call it a success because I read 2 books in a week. That's probably more than I normally would read. I also almost finished an audiobook. I'm at 97%. It's The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. I'm catching up finally on that series. So, you know, for me, huge success. And and I'm pretty happy. How was your Spookathon? Let me know down below. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell icon because, as you know, you don't know when I post, neither do I.